Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Jordan JC, host of the Chicago Bears Breeze in the building. Interesting topics to get to today. Talked about this on the Chicago Bears podcast as well. But man, listen. Caleb Williams being ranked very, very high by PFF. High for my standards anyway, but a lot of belief around this young man, and they are not shying away from it. Got to talk about that. Got to look at these Western Conference Finals as well. Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals, the Conference Finals, and talk about who does a championship mean the most to as well. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Who was the first one in here? Cody Abbott Jr.?
Who we got?
Shout out to Cody Abbott Jr. Said he was watching us over on the Bears podcast. Love that, man. Levante in the building. Michael Anthony in the building. We got some folks in the building. Hit that like button. Stop playing with us already, man. What's going on, my guy? How you feeling, man?
Man, feeling good. I'm on a health streak right now. No meat until Saturday right now. All right? No meat.
That sounds crazy, dog.
You know I got to start off great. No meat, guys. No, see, Michael, give him a steak. Nope, no steak today.
No steaks. No steaks till Saturday. So you're fighting the fight. You're trying
to good fight.
Fighting a good fight out here. Well, y'all pray for Jordan. We don't know if he'll make it, and he'll probably be dead by Friday. You know what I'm saying? No meat till Saturday is crazy, bro. That was a wild way to phrase that.
Oh man, yeah. All right.
Oh God, crazy start to this show.
I'm soft. Whatever. Anyway, let's get it. I guess I'm soft because I don't eat a good steak every. Come on now, get out of here, Michael.
Oh God. Let's jump into some football talk, dog. That took an interesting turn to start this thing off. Let's jump into some football talk. How about that? Speaking of pigskin, you know what I'm saying? PFF ranking Caleb Williams higher than I think. At least I'll say this. Some people go crazy with it, right? Where they're sitting there and they're like, of course, he's the number 1 overall pick. He should be a top whatever quarterback already. But it is difficult for me to look at some of these lists, some of these rankings, and say, oh, well, you know, even though he hasn't played he should be here, even though he hasn't played a down of football yet. Based on that, right? And I know lists weren't a big thing back in the day, but based on that, if we go all the way back, Ryan Leaf probably would have been 15th on somebody's list back in the day, with how people were talking about him coming into the NFL and what they knew he was going to do. I'm not saying that that's what I want to see from Caleb Williams, but right. It makes me a little bit more measured when it comes to a lot of these lists, and I look at them a little bit differently. But PFF right now has Caleb Williams ranked top 20 on this list. Trevor Sickman put this list together, and he's got him at 19 already. Now, we'll get into the list itself, but looking at kind of what he said about Caleb Williams, he said, I'm opening myself up to some criticism here, as Williams has yet to play a single down of NFL football. I'm glad you know, my guy. But I'm a draft guy. So to watch Williams at USC and scout what I think he is capable of in the NFL and rank him below the guys I think he's better than, even in 2024, would be disingenuous. Williams has the natural gifts to be an impactful football player in year one. He'll be surrounded by some stud receivers and what is hopefully a good offensive line. The big question for him is whether all the Superman plays at USC were out of desperation or if that is his identity. If it was out of desperation and he can be comfortable playing in structure, he could have a big year. He could be in for a big year. If he continues to play backyard football too much, 2024 might be a wild ride. And I guess, right, like, let us know in the chat and in the comments kind of where you rank Caleb Williams starting off now. 19 to me is crazy talk right now. I guess it's not crazy talk because I'm not sitting here putting 5 guys ahead of him. But 19 to me is it's a little high for kind of where I was. What was the other list we did where they had him 23rd?
23rd, yeah. Joe had him 23rd.
I'm kind of there, but even there, right, you're putting him ahead of NFL quarterbacks who have done it at this level already. Where do you see Caleb Williams right now coming into this NFL season ranked?
I'm fine with where it is. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm riding the Caleb train to glory. I think honestly the reason why hey, all right. That wasn't that crazy. That wasn't that crazy. All right, come on, man. God, give me some. I'm glad we're not at the studio. We don't have any flags around. Anyway,
flags around.
I'm actually high on that him being fine where he is, because I know even in the last list we talked about if he could get to cut it in half, he could get to about 11 or 12 right behind Aaron Rodgers by the end of the year. We're happy with that. I'm okay with him being at 19th just because you have the foundation of the offense around him already. Like there's so many good pieces around Caleb Williams that will make him good to even great, I think, at the start of this season, along with the schedule. Like all of those things are in his favor to be good. So I even if he's ahead of some guys that are already, vets in the league or whatever, have taken snaps and he hasn't taken one, I'm big on the fact that, as a team, I think you have the structure around him for him to be where he is supposed to be.
No, yeah, I hear you. I love this comment by Paul Johnson. He said the list should have the newly drafted quarterbacks projected separate from the NFL veterans. Here's the best part about this list, my guy. And what I love about how PFF kind of does some of their stuff, it is they just take Caleb Williams out of it. Tier 1, which I love this. I love how this is tiered. Tier 1 is called Mahomes. It's just Patrick Mahomes.
Of course.
Patrick Mahomes.
Just him, the GOAT. Yeah.
Tier 2 is the elite. Lamar Jackson coming in number 2, Joe Burrow 3, Josh Allen 4. The elite. Josh Allen's still in that list. All right, here we go.
Are we putting Joe Burrow in there because of his career, or are we putting him in there from last year?
Well, I mean, you can't put him in there from last year, but I guess with Joe Burrow, right, the one thing that we can say about Burrow being in the elite is, what are we worried about? Him not being able to overcome a bad offensive line? We've watched that for 4 years at this point. Yeah, it's a matter of health more than anything, but we know he can overcome a bad offensive line. So I'd leave him in the elite. Tier 3, this is where it starts to get me, boy. There's some QBs in this tier. Postseason caliber QBs. Justin Herbert leads the way. Justin Herbert ain't been to the postseason, or has been to the postseason. Ain't won in the postseason.
I think we know you hate Justin Herbert now.
It's not hate, bro. It's not hate. It's just here's my thing, and I think this is maybe this comes off as hate, because when we get to Trevor Lawrence, I rage just as much. I'm not gonna lie to you, but maybe this comes off as hate. But success used to mean something, not the perception of success. You were a good quarterback if you were successful.
Yeah.
You were a good wide receiver if you were successful. You were good. And now it's like everybody has to be successful. Everybody has to be hyped up. You have to, right? Like it's like everybody feels bad that Dan Marino got talked about as one of the best quarterbacks, even though he never won a ring. But we also kind of like, while it was happening, you knew who Dan Marino was, so he kind of got dogged as well. Yeah, I mean, so it was like he's not gonna win a championship because of the team, but he's not gonna win. Like I like to tie things to success, and Justin Herbert has had none. So Justin Herbert 5, Dak Prescott 6.
Oh no, he's got to go down.
Stafford 7, Aaron Rodgers 8, Jalen Hurts is 9, CJ Stroud is 10, and then you get to the melting pot of starters. That is Jordan Love 11, Trevor Lawrence 12.
No,
hold on.
God, Lord. And now, Dak and Trevor need to go down.
And now listen to the group of quarterbacks behind a quarterback who legitimately is the reason that his team loses at times. Very similar to a Justin Herbert. Here you go. Brock Purdy. Purdy. You mean the dude that was in the Super Bowl that literally put his team on his back for 2 games and got to the Super Bowl? That dude, he's behind him.
Who made this list?
Behind Trevor Lawrence. It's Trevor Sickman. Hey, here's the thing.
Yeah,
here's the thing. That's what a bar. The caveat that I'd say it on the Chicago Bears podcast, and I have to bring it here. It's PFF. This is purely based on numbers. Based on numbers, right? This is purely based on their stats and what they see from guys. But the thing that confuses me about it is they have him ranked top 5 in big time throws. but he's also ranked top 5 in turnover-worthy plays. So, I mean, these are their stats, though. So, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, and Caleb Williams are all in that tier with Trevor, and all behind him. The only one that should be behind him, and I am not kidding about this, the only one that should be behind him, or only two, I should say, that should be behind him are Geno Smith and Caleb Williams.
I'm sorry, I'm putting Dak and Trevor behind Caleb. I'm moving Caleb up to 17.
I'm not putting Dak behind Caleb.
I understand the regular season stats. If we're going off stats, and I understand PFF goes off that, yes, okay, Dak is a really good player in the regular season. I'm sorry, I'm putting Caleb above Dak, man. Dak is
but Caleb hasn't played in the regular season.
I don't give a crap.
You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Come on, dog. We can't do that. We can't do that now. Let's relax.
I know. So, it's going to get there. It's going to.
And then after that, it's the guys who. So who was the guy? Was it Paul? To Paul's point, the next tier can single-handedly win and lose a game. Leads off with Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and then the next generation, which is all of the young quarterbacks completely separated. We just took Caleb Williams out of that.
Oh, so you get Jaden and Drake and all of them are in there.
Yeah. Okay, that's where the bottom tiers are right now. So they did tier it. But they just said this guy doesn't fit the tier. He's not a part of that conversation. So I mean, take that for what you want. I'll say this: it's when I look at even some of the quarterbacks behind Caleb Williams, I have questions. Like I think that Caleb's going to be good, but Baker Mayfield coming off of one of his best seasons.
He did. Yeah, he did have a good season.
Played really well. I get it. It was a prove-it year, but like played really well and didn't lose because of Baker. And Baker has been a good quarterback in this NFL. Has he been great? No, but he's been solid. He's been good. Derek Carr, okay, I guess I can kind of see that. Russell Wilson, we finished out his career in Denver, not being the problem in Denver, and that says a lot about how things went in Denver. And then Deshaun Watson, I guess, if you're basing it off of the time he's missed, I can understand that. But there's a lot about Deshaun that has been really, really good. Just not since he's been back.
He's just got to get consistent again. Yeah, Deshaun hasn't been himself since, well, we already know.
Well, I mean, that and the injuries, right? He's dealt with the injuries. Deshaun's dealt with a lot outside of just being a weirdo off of the field. But I just when I see some of those names that come up behind Caleb Williams, I do question. I get it, right? We're excited. We want to see this guy, but like, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 100 here. This is not an NFL player yet. He has not played a down of football in the NFL. And so it's very tough for me to hear that guys who, I guess if you got the older guys, right, that are behind him, but like when you say Dak Prescott, to me, that's crazy because Dak Prescott is a 4,500 yard, 30-something touchdown passer.
I'm being biased with that. I'm just looking
F the Cowboys, you know what I mean? But I mean, I'm here for it. But that's tough for me. That's tough for me when I hear people just like, of course he's going to be great because this, and this. We've seen people go the other direction, but that's not my expectation.
Yeah. I'm looking at the rest of this list. I'm sorry, man. Shout out to Ringo. The first person on tier 7, the holdovers, is Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he's going
to holdover.
Yeah, he's got nothing going for him.
Jesus Christ, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Mitchell. Yeah, no, I mean this list it's semi-decent. I do understand what you're saying. I heard somebody in the comment section or wrote in the comment section, maybe they should have divided it, or was that a text that you put up where it said it should have just been the rookies coming in, their rankings, and then the vets. I think they should have separated that because it doesn't make any sense for a guy who hasn't taken a snap, if I'm being completely serious, to be that high just yet. But like I said, I put out a video today about the fact that the reason why I think they're thinking that is because, according to PFF, the Bears have the 3rd strongest group or position group in the NFL with wide receiver. Quarterback is Pat Mahomes. Can't remember what running back was Derrick Henry and the Ravens, and then 3rd right there under them was the Bears with their receiver core. So, maybe they're just, like I said, looking at it as a whole and seeing what Caleb has to work with.
Yeah, could be. I mean, that could play a serious part into it. I just think, and I think here's my thing, right? Like if you're ranking them as far as the guys who are ahead of him, I'm not even telling you he's not better than some of these guys. It's just, what are we basing it off of? Are we basing it off of what he did in college? And the other part of this that I thought was very interesting is kind of how he breaks down what are we protecting Caleb's offensive line at USC for? Like what is, like I get it. Yeah, I mean, like I get all of the, you don't want anybody to feel bad about, but we watched it. They should feel bad.
Yeah, they're not good.
We saw how they played. They should feel bad. When he brings up, the big question for him is whether all the Superman plays at USC were out of desperation or if that is his identity. Of course they were out of desperation.
Yeah.
This guy was under pressure. This guy was running for his life for most of that last year at USC. It was not a good offensive line. He was trying to make something out of nothing. And more times than not was actually able to do it. Like, it's okay to say, hey, the offensive line was not good. Like we see it all the time in the NFL. Hey, these guys, they were not good. Like Caleb was the Superman plays, the big throws, the trying to extend plays, the trying to or holding the ball too long. We know that it was out of a necessity. And I'll go a step further. Of course, it's out of necessity, but I would rather have a quarterback that can than a quarterback that can't.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Why are we like that? I'm not gonna lie to you. I get it. You got to hit guys in time, and you got to hit guys in stride, and you can't miss. And Pat Mahomes is one of the best at that. I think Joe Burrow's really good at that. Guys like that, right? But you would rather have a quarterback that can make a play out of nothing and decides not to because there's something better to do than a quarterback that's got to sit back there and get his head taken off because we want him to look like a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, like I'm always thrown off by that conversation of like, well, he was getting out on the edge a little much for me. It's like, would you want? Why was he out on the edge? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for one of the things that I like about with this is that it essentially is allowing Caleb Williams. Well, like I said, the beginning of the season is going to dictate, what's going to happen with this. Whether or not people believe in PFF or not, or they think it's overblown, this is a good starter. I believe that this is a good starter or a good measuring stick for what Caleb is going to do, at the start of the season. So, whether you think this is just too high, he's too high on the list, or he shouldn't be on the list, or they should separate the list from vets and rookies. I think we're going to see him kind of go up that board pretty quickly, in my opinion. A lot of people are in here saying, he could be top 10 by the end of the year. I don't know about that. I'll be happy with him being in the top 15 if by all accounts. If we have a really, really good season, that's where I see him being.
I think that it depends on, because realistically, based on this list, CJ Stroud is top 10, right? Like it depends on what kind of season you get out of this, right? And depends on how you utilize him, how much he is the reason. And I think that's the other thing too, that you look at kind of what is Caleb doing? What is it about Caleb's game that is standing out? What is it that they're utilizing on a consistent basis? What is he most comfortable with starting out? What is he struggling with starting out? Right? All of those things to me play into, what Caleb Williams is going to be, the conversation around what Caleb Williams is going to be, because or where he finishes ranked, because if he's turning around, he's handing the football off every play. No, he's not going to be a top 20 QB. But if that's the way that the Chicago Bears go out there and win, and he plays that Tom Brady first year role, who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the part as well. You want to see a ton from Caleb. You want to see the ability from Caleb. You want to see him be able to reach for the stars. But to me, right now, all the lists, all the rankings, all of the this guy's here and he should make this play early on and all of that stuff. Like, I know it's the off season and we got to make these lists interesting, and this is an interesting list, but prepare yourselves, Bears fan, and I'm gonna say this because there's gonna be lists that as we get further into the offseason that are gonna have him lower down. There's gonna be lists as we get further in the offseason that are gonna have him higher up, and we're gonna talk about all of them because there's nothing else to talk about. But you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's about how Caleb Williams comes out and attacks this thing. And I'm intrigued. I'm excited about the quarterback that we have now because I see how prepared he is. I see how ready he is. As we're getting ready for OTAs. You see a lot of good out of Caleb Williams, and I love that.
Yeah, and the fact that, and this is kind of an extension of this topic, the fact that he already had, I read an article where, obviously they already knew they were going to pick him, if we're being completely honest. So ahead of time, the smart thing that they did that I guess a lot of people haven't done is that they used their interview times. I believe I read said the 3 interviews before they drafted him to give him the different phases of the playbook.
Yeah.
For him to start implementing, okay, what are the names of the play calls? Get acclimated with the names of the play in the playbook, get acclimated with the routes, get acclimated with this, with the adjustments at the line, and da 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 da. I think that it's going to bode well also for Caleb, during the season, and it's going to allow him to kind of reach his potential at a certain point during the season.
Yeah, I mean that definitely changes. I'll ask you this too: when you look at, because we're doing the list conversation, right? When you look at the list, and by the way, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. On the channel, talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. Make sure that you stay in tune with us. When you look at the list,
yeah,
let's look at the young guys.
Yeah,
like I think this is a better conversation. Let's even say some of these second year guys.
Okay.
Is Caleb the best of the bunch of the young quarterbacks? So you're talking about Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels, Will Levis. Who else is in that?
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud, Sam Darnold, possibly JJ McCarthy, or JJ McCarthy is the name I'm looking for there. So JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, that kind of coming in at the bottom of that probably. But
yeah,
is he the best of the bunch right now that you have in this league?
Well, with no bias, I'll put it like this: I think he's the second best. You got to give it to CJ, because not only did CJ really perform well and kind of, I won't say come out of nowhere, but the fact that Bryce Young was taken before him, nobody really knew that he would end up being the best of the bunch. And the fact that he's now got Stephon Diggs, I mean, that team is loaded with talent on offense and defense to help him out. And I think they're going to win even more this year. So I'm going to give CJ Stroud that number 1 spot. And then right behind him, I think Caleb Williams, like you said, because he hasn't taken a step, he hasn't really proven anything, even though we're really looking forward to what he can do on the field. He's behind CJ, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think, listen, that says a lot. And I'll say this, a chance to finish out ahead of CJ. The one thing that I do love about both quarterbacks in this situation, I love how they did CJ down in Houston.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a great rookie career, great rookie season, rookie of the year. I love it, all of that. Go do it again. No, it was, how do we make them better?
Yeah.
How do we make this team better? How do we get this team to the next step? How do we push this team forward? Go out there and be better in this season coming up. I love how they've handled CJ Stroud. You go out, you add Stephon Diggs. You go out and you're getting Tank Dell back. You add Joe Mixon. I mean, like that. They basically made themselves one of the more potent offenses in the NFL. And then you kind of look at, what the Bears are doing. They did the same thing with the rookie QB before the rookie QB even gets in here. And it's almost like teams are starting to realize, and I said this was my problem with how teams handled Lamar, how the Ravens handled Lamar Jackson early on. They saw what Lamar could do and were just like, go figure it out, go do it. And then, we'll talk about payment when it gets to you. All right, my best wide receiver is Hollywood Brown. Yeah, we got you. What?
My best receiver is a tight end, really.
I've got nobody to throw to. Like who am I throwing the football to? I also have no offensive line, by the way, guys. I don't know if y'all know this, but I might need an offensive line as well. No, you'll be fine. Figure it out. Like that, but that is the way that mobile quarterbacks have been handled for years in the NFL.
Yeah,
and by mobile, I just mean able to get out and make a play, because Lamar Jackson was a guy that could throw the football early on. Guess what? You gave him a wide receiver. You gave him some weapons last season. All of a sudden, it's a miracle. This guy can throw the football again. How's he throwing touchdowns and not just running for them? Because you're giving him the weapons to do so. I love that they did that with CJ. I love that they're doing that with Caleb here. And I think that when you kind of look at the situations, like the only reason that to me CJ, and not to say CJ was amazing last year, but the only reason to me that I still see CJ being the best quarterback after this season is because they attacked it that way. Yep. I think CJ is really good, but when there becomes an over-reliance on you're our answer, go out there and figure it out. A lot of times you see quarterbacks take a step back. How many quarterbacks have we seen that happen to in this NFL? I don't think CJ has a step back. I would still put him as one. But the fact that you can look at the rest of that list of young guys and feel, pretty confident to me that Caleb Williams is the second best. Like,
who's going to compete? Who's going to challenge him? Bryce?
Well, I'll say this. Are we overlooking J.J. McCarthy? And I'm only saying overlooking J.J. McCarthy because the Vikings situation ain't bad either.
It's a nasty situation over there. They got the best receiver.
And where do we count Jordan Love in all of this? Where do we? Because technically last year
Jordan Love was
his first full season playing. Like, is this? Are we counting him too? Kind of.
What is it like? Joel Embiid when he won? He had like rookie of the year in his second year or something. Who was that? No, I'm not putting him in there.
You're not throwing Jordan Love in there? Not giving him that credit?
Nah, I don't.
He can't get on the list?
Nah, that's all right. He's not in.
You ain't got a lot of kicking, my guy.
No, you know what?
This show of love. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page. What was you gonna say?
No, I think that shout out to Michael Anthony. He's make some good points in the chat. I do think that he's not going to decline. Meaning, talking about CJ Stroud. However, he does have to show it again because, as you've mentioned plenty of times, after teams get tape on you, there's a little bit of a growing period even in year two. Like you got to adjust to when they adjust to you. So as much as he showed out in his rookie season, these defenses could be ready for what he's going to put out on tape. And again, that's why you give kudos to Houston because they added even more talent around him. But yeah, no, I don't foresee a fall off, which is again why I would put him one. Again, I don't see anybody competing with Caleb. J.J. McCarthy, you got a point about him being, surrounded with talent there in Minnesota. But, I don't see it as on the same level as Chicago.
Listen, you're starting your career off with Justin Jefferson. It's not a bad start.
No, not at all.
It's not a bad start for your NFL career.
Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson. No. You're doing some things.
You're doing pretty good if you're starting your career off with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson and Alexander Madison, right?
That's the running back. Yeah.
That is not Madison. Who'd they add? They got Green Bay's running back.
You talking about Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones, yeah, they had Aaron Jones in there.
Jeez, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about that.
You know what I mean? Like you sit there and you look at it like, listen, we overlook it a little bit, but realistically speaking, not a bad offense. Yeah, I mean, not a bad team to have to sit out there and go to war with. Yeah, and I'll say this. That situation is one that I'm watching closely as well because I don't know. Are we 100% certain that Sam Darnold is bad there? Could we see the resurgence of Sam Darnold?
There's always one. You had Baker come out on fire last year. It could be him. You never know.
It's so interesting. Like the NFC North is going to be wild this year. I saw some rankings on like who has the best division on PFF as well, and I think the NFC North had the fourth strongest division, which I got some questions on that. But
fourth,
they got them fourth. They had them fourth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think AFC West was the top division. Which I guess I kind of see that. AFC is scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. A big reason why I feel the way I feel about a lot of stuff with the Bears is because I don't look at the NFC as that scary.
No, outside of the division, no.
I'm not worried about a lot of the teams in in the conference because they're still stumbling and trying to figure it out as well. A lot of these teams have young quarterbacks that they're trying to figure out as well. Like there's a lot going into, why I feel like the Bears are confident, or why I feel like the Bears can be a lot more confident now. And it starts off with the fact that you built this team, and I don't see. I mean, is there another offense like this in the NFC if things go perfectly?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I
don't know. No.
I mean, in theory, Dallas should be, right?
Well, we already know how that's going to look by the end of the season.
Yeah, in theory, Dallas should be there, but it's just, I don't know.
They have a horrible running back group, by the way. They brought back Elliott for whatever reason. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott for whatever reason. I don't know why they're doing that, but no, I'm good on Dallas.
Everybody's good on Dallas. Nobody's worried about Dallas at this point. It is what it is, bro. Like if you believe in Dallas, you're a Dallas fan. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, you live in Dallas.
If you believe in Dallas, you're a Dallas fan. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. Let you guys hear from our sponsors over at Aura, and then we're gonna be right back on the other side. Got to talk about these conference playoffs, man. Who does a championship mean the most to? We'll talk about that on the other side. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit that like button. Let's do it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Oh, he's vibing. Oh God, we got Mr. Meaty vibing back there. Oh boy,
got a vibe.
That Aura beat hit different. I'm not gonna lie to you. That Aura beat, Joe got that Aura beat on point. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of a vibe on that one. Hey, Michael Anthony said this Aura commercial got me like, for real?
Refreshing.
Hey man, we need y'all to go sign up for that trial with Aura, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love. That helps us out mightily. Check the trial out if you're not rocking with it, if you're not vibing with it, and after the 14 days you want to cancel, that's up to you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying to do it. I'm not saying don't do it, but it is a good product. I get emails and texts all the time from them about. There's a lot of data leaks out there, bro. Like my God, like it's a lot of data leaks out there, bro.
Got to get protection.
I don't know. It's crazy. Got to get protection, brother. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love to another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. YouTube not really cracking today. 84 on the YouTube side.
Oh, man.
34 over on Twitter. Twitter is kicking y'all butts right now. We are at over 200 in the chat, though.
200. Let's go.
Over 200 in the chat. Shout out to the Twitter fam over there, man. If you're on the Twitter side, drop I don't know what you drop on Twitter. Drop a retweet. Drop a. This X is a whole new ball game, bro. X a whole new ball game right now.
Like
I don't
that.
know. I don't know what's
love it. I
going
love
on
it.
with that, bro. But no, man. Let's keep the conversation going. Appreciate y'all
Yes.
showing love, man. We got to start it off with the Bears. Got to start it off with some Caleb talk. Got to start it off with feeling good about where we're heading in OTAs. Top 20 quarterback
You
in the
doggone
NFL.
right.
Here we go.
Doggone
I'll
right.
tell you this: if he's 19th next year, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
if he goes up, then we got an issue. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? But no, realistically speaking, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this conference finals because there are 4 players in this conference finals that a championship could mean something to. We kind of gave our predictions on where we thought the conference finals were going to end up at. But what does a championship mean to these 4 stars that are on the list? The Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. He has no shot. And I'm sorry.
I'm with you.
I gotta bring him up in the conversation because he's playing, and Luka Doncic. I gotta bring him up in the conversation because he's playing, but like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Hey, shout out Don Burr for this. I peeped this as well. Can we talk about top 20 players on this list? Under 25?
That list.
Lions had 5, Bears had 0. That's because they're all 26, Don Burr. Have fun. Legitimately, DJ Moore's 26, Montez Sweat is 27. I mean, like
come on, man.
Give us a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
exactly.
Give us a year. Just wait.
But no, let's talk a little NBA here, dog. Who does a championship mean most to this season? We got this conference finals coming up. There's going to be some hard fought games here. But I think realistically, for me, Anthony Edwards is the name that I'm going with. And here's why. I know a lot of people kind of look at that different. I know a lot of people kind of look at that as, well, you know, Jason Tatum, it would mean that he can get the haters off his back. Luka Doncic, it means he can finally shut up Phoenix fans because all they got is you don't have a championship either. And he's never been to an NBA finals, right? But to me, Anthony Edwards winning a championship at 22 years old would be career changing,
man,
for him, because I really believe this. If Jason Tatum were to win an NBA championship, if Luka Doncic were to win an NBA championship, if, God forbid, Tyrese Halliburton were to win an NBA championship, none of them become the face of the NBA. If Anthony Edwards,
that's a good point.
It might just be, I'm going to be real with you, it might just be getting to the finals, realistically. If Anthony Edwards gets to the finals, Anthony Edwards will become the new face of the NBA.
He's already on his way. I mean, if we're being honest, he already is on his way. John and Zion, they had their chances. I'm going to throw well, first of all, I'll say it like this. To stack on to your point, I agree that if Anthony won it all, that would be amazing, not only for himself personally, but you talk about just the history of the Timberwolves, man. They were showing highlights of the last time they went to the conference finals was with KG.
With KG.
Like it's been too long. And so to kind of get that off their back, that would be impressive. But I want to kind of throw a curveball at you because this is a name that I actually look at as an honorable mention, more so than Luka. I'm going to go Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, to me, if he wins a championship post LeBron at his age, I feel like that's his own way of saying, I did it on my own. You know, aside from all the failed 3 superstar teams that he was on with James Harden and KD and, you know, being in Boston with Jason Tatum and all those boys first. You know, I feel like Kyrie is a kind of like an under the rug name that I think should be mentioned a little bit more because I feel like that would kind of, what do you call it, like stamp his legacy in a sense.
See, that's tough for me because Kyrie is the reason LeBron got his ring.
That's not what everybody else say. I agree.
Kyrie going ballistic in that game is absolutely the reason why LeBron got his ring. You know what I mean? Like Kyrie being who he was in the playoffs, there is no ring without Kyrie. So I think Kyrie's legacy is stamped already. I think like if I'm looking at, I mean, he's a champion already. Yeah, I mean, he's been a champion. Is it a while ago? Sure, but he's been a champion. He's somebody who I look at and I say that this guy has, all of the answers. He's an amazing basketball player. He's one of the best guards to ever dribble a basketball. Kyrie just finally got out of Kyrie way. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of the stuff that Kyrie was going through, like it was like, I just want to be a regular person. I'm sorry, you're not a regular person. I hate to tell you this, Kyrie. Like you're kind of famous. Like you're a pretty popular guy. People pay attention to what you do. And Kyrie wanted to live that. Hey, listen, I'm just like you. There's no difference between us except you play in a league that most men dream of playing in, and you are, one of the greatest guards to ever dribble a basketball in NBA history. So I look at Kyrie, a lot of Kyrie's situation as stuff that he put himself through. But
facts, Nova. I agree. Daily life.
I think that I also kind of just look at that whole situation, and for me, when I'm looking at, okay, why is this situation working? Why is Dallas working? Why is there a chance that they're going to the NBA Finals this season? Why is that series going to be the series that everybody's locked in on? The way that they have kind of positioned this team together, I don't think that you can say it's just a Kyrie mission. Not to say it's just a Luka mission. They look like arguably one of the best teams in the NBA. I'll say both of these teams in the Western Conference Finals look better than both teams in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that the conversation, the Ant conversation will be because of, let's be real, it's because of facial features, right? It'll be, the Ant conversation will be because people love his mindset. People love his look. They feel like, oh, he's got that Michael Jordan in him.
He's different. He's got that man.
Kobe. He's different. And I agree with everybody on all of that. And so because of that, I think that there's more attached to Ant's name if he goes out and he wins. If he goes out and he is successful. If he goes out and he makes an NBA Finals. But I think that if Luka were to go out and win, it quiets a lot of the doubt. He cements himself as, to me, the greatest Maverick of all time. Yeah, I mean, does
that mean he's the greatest international prospect then?
No, that's Jokic. That's
still going to be Jokic.
That's still Jokic to me.
Okay.
But I think it changes conversations around a lot of these guys. I think when you look at Luka, though, it's just the conversation is more Luka and Tatum. The conversation is more shutting people up than it is elevating them. Like does Luka go higher on where we have him ranked in the NBA if he wins an NBA championship?
No,
he's already top 5 to me.
Yeah, no, he's not going any higher.
He's a top 5 player in the NBA. There's no question about it.
Yeah, he just needs a ring. Yeah,
like he doesn't go to 1 to me.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't change conversations around him. But to me, I think that's kind of why I wanted to bring this conversation up, because I think the conversation around Ant does change. One, he's 22. Luka's what, 24? 25? Not that big of a difference. But what is Luka? How old is Luka? It's a good question. He's still ridiculous. 25 years old. So there's still a bunch of leeway for everybody. But I don't think that, I think it's because of how the NBA is. It's very tough to make an international player the face of your league. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan wasn't in the league for 2 years, and nobody was sitting there talking about Hakeem Olajuwon. You're the face of the league now.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to talk about. Like, and people kind of avoid that conversation. But like, you're probably never going to see it. Nobody was ever dying to make Jokic the face of the league. Realistically speaking, it's still LeBron, and they're just like, please, somebody pick up the mantle.
Well, they tried to give it to a couple of guys, just off the court issues got the best of them, you know, and they just can't get right. But you know, to make even more of your point about Anthony, man, it's refreshing. I'll put it like this: to not have all this buddy ball. Anthony is ushering in a new, I think, era of, you know, not even new era. I should say going back to the old days of, hey, this is my team. I don't need any help. I'm going to rock with the team that already is with me, and I'm just going to attack everybody. It doesn't matter if he's 22 years old. He's not waiting around to get into his prime and let the old guys have their time. And now is the time for them to win, and that's the way they see it.
It's a mentality thing too, and I think this is why, again, when you talk about what the NBA is looking for, the kind of player that the NBA wants to have. Listen, I think Baki said it in here the other day. LeBron kind of ushered in the it's okay for all of us to eat generation. You took a little food out of my mouth, I'll get some back. We can all be successful around here. Hey, pass the plates. Yeah, he's an elite passer. Pass the plates. Yeah, everybody eats. B. I think that there's a belief around Ant-Man and that a belief that the NBA wants to come back because of how Adam Silver is building this up as well.
Absolutely.
Of when you had players who their main mindset was like, no, you don't eat, I eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that's getting all of the.
You're going to starve.
You're going to starve out there. And I think, I'll say this. I think Curry has a little bit of that as well, but for some reason, nobody really paid attention to him, even though he was being uber successful. Nobody paid attention to him as far as being like the face of the league. Like it was still LeBron's league when Steph and Curry was going and going on his runs and dominating with the Golden State Warriors, all of that. But I do think Steph is like that. Steph is like, I'm gonna take your heart out and eat it in front of you.
Yeah, no doubt. And the fact that Steph impacted the league more. I know a lot of people are going to kill me for this, but I still think that he impacted the league more, or he changed the game more than LeBron. The way that we're playing now, the way the league has been playing for the last 10 years.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I think LeBron said that. Okay. LeBron talked about that on his podcast with JJ Redick. He talked about, how 20-point leads used to be safe, how you be emptying your bench by the end of the game, all until that light-skinned MFer out in Golden State showed up. And now all of a sudden, I'm playing 40 minutes a game because it's like this game may not be over.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think that I don't think LeBron is unaware of that. And I think it just opened up a different kind of game for players, right? Like guard Stephen Curry's size. What's that? 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2", 6'3", yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those guys weren't thriving in the NBA. You weren't building your teams around them. You weren't making them the face of a team. And I mean, he opens up the door for a lot of the guards that we see today. The Jalen Brunsons, the Trey Youngs, the DeJounte. Well, DeJounte a little bit taller. DeJounte 6'4", I think 6'5", something like that. But he opens up the league for a lot of those guys, and he did.
Yeah.
I'd say this. He changed how teams wanted to build their team because you had to be able to have enough guys to shoot to be able to compete. So he killed big man for a little while. I think Wemby's about to bring it back.
Oh, no doubt.
I think Wemby's about to go out there and absolutely bring it back. But he absolutely killed the big man position for a little while because you were sitting. Teams used to just have 3 big men on their bench. Like you had to have size. You had no choice but to have size. And then it turned into a 3-point shooting league, and it was like we got to get rid of some of these big dudes and get more shooters.
Yeah,
or we need to have 3 or 4 shooters off of the bench. Yeah. So it does make a difference. I think that I don't think that that's a very controversial statement because I can't realistically speaking, and I'm not saying I could be Stephen Curry. I'm never saying that, but if I get a trainer and I have a okay shot, I can turn into a really good shooter at the level that I'm at.
Yeah.
Right. Sitting there going to export and all that. You can turn into a really good shooter because you're paying somebody to
do LA Fitness 5 times a week.
Hey, balling, baby. But there's an ability for that because you can have somebody teach you to do that.
Yeah.
You can't teach 6'8", 260.
No.
With a 40-inch vertical, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna be this height today. No, you can't do that.
There's nothing you can teach you on that. There's nothing. So I don't want to say that LeBron's impact on the game to me is not less than Stephen Curry's. But being able to be LeBron, I think, is a lot harder than people realize. We've seen the LeBron clones come into the league where it's oh, this guy, he's supposed to be like the next LeBron. He's supposed to be able to handle, pass, do all this. But like none of them are 260.
Yeah.
LeBron James was 260 pounds. He was a massive player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he was a friggin' center and a small forward's body. And it's almost like, right, like we had that conversation around Roma Dunze the other day about how there's no player in the NFL like him.
Yeah.
There are players that have skills like him, but the combination,
together
of the combination of plays, yeah, I mean, like 6'4", 240, soft hands, great
speed.
vert, great speed. When you start to look at some of the dudes that popped up that were trying to be LeBron, like Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be Canadian LeBron. Andrew Wiggins.
God, no.
Andrew Wiggins, 220 pounds.
No. that ship sailed as soon as it docked.
Yeah, I mean, but even that, it was like Andrew Wiggins, 220 pounds.
He didn't have to drive either. No, Andrew wasn't it. Nah.
Notice that a lot of Canadian players that have come into this league, they drive a little different. You know what I mean? Shout out to Canadian LeBron. All the knockoffs, sir. I shouldn't say knockoffs, they NBA players. All of the great value players are freaking. Yeah, I mean, like they remember who was French Jordan? French Jordan?
Okay, you might be on the same wavelength as me because I literally was about to say this. The European Jordan was Michael Pietrus.
Michael Peach, exactly.
Pietrus. They said this dude was European Jordan or French Jordan, and I was like, man, you got to get him on the Bulls now. This dude came over here on the Magic. I think it was like, yeah, right.
Heck of a role player. Yeah, I mean,
what?
Heck of a role player. Now, I've never seen anybody do this versus the French. Yeah, I mean, like, just saying. I'm just saying that's how it went. But no, I like this. Nova, that's a great comment. LeBron changed the business of basketball 100%. He put power in players' hands. And I think that something that you did need. And now that the power is in the players' hands and the league is kind of more willing to work back and forth with them, you have to go out there and now get your killers back. And the whole conversation around this is because of who would become the face of the league, blah, blah, blah. If Ant does that, a lot of people will follow suit.
Yeah.
Ant and I think here's the thing. Ant is the leader of probably that new generation if he gets to an NBA Finals. He's the guy that Ja Morant is going to look at when he comes back and, pistol in hand. And he's going to be like, hey, listen, I got to shoot for that. Yeah, like, he's the guy that Shea is going to be looking at and saying, dang, he got there before I did. I was supposed to be there.
Forgot about Shea.
Yeah. Be me. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the guys. You start to look through a lot of these young guys. He's going to be the guy that you look at and go, oh, okay. I kind of see who we need to aim for and the mindset that we need. It's still a copycat league.
Yeah.
The mindset that we need to have to get to that point. So I think that it would mean a lot more for Anthony Edwards. And now, listen, here's the tough part. They may lose to Dallas. I said my prediction was Wolves in 6. With the caveat
you did say
with the caveat of if it get to 7, they probably lose.
Because Kyrie, yeah.
Kyrie Irving don't lose game 7s.
You're right.
Kyrie Irving don't lose. I believe he's 14-0 in closeout games.
The man's a beast.
Kyrie don't lose closeout games.
Man's a beast.
Man's a monster, man.
I want to give a little shine because I know we mentioned Ant, and I know we mentioned Luka, and I mentioned Kyrie kind of as like an honorable mention, but also
we talked nothing about Tatum. That says a lot.
Yeah, that was like I want to give a little bit of shine to Tatum because if Tatum wins and finally gets over the hump, that kind of dispels the fact that they've been to the finals twice. I believe they've been to the finals twice before this year and have come up short. So for them to be as good of a team as they have been and constantly there but not finish. That would kind of dispel them because to me I think Ringo said it yesterday. It almost seems as if they know when to turn it on and turn it off. It's like they play at a certain level that they kind of not moonwalk. What is they kind of drag themselves like through games. Like we know we're talented So we'll just play along, and then sometimes that beats them. So
no, I can see it. I definitely can see it. By the way, 32 likes on the YouTube side, dog. That's what y'all on?
they never
32
like
likes
us at
on the
YouTube.
video.
I don't know what's going on with
They
the
fooling
likes,
with. They ain't fooling with us today. It is what it is, man. It's because we talking basketball. But no, no. I'll say this, and then we can to close it out to the Tatum point. Because listen, I'm not a believer in the Boston Celtics, but the Tatum slander is wild. Yeah, I realize he's 27, right?
That's crazy. Still got a lot of basketball left.
Like, listen. I understand. I understand that Jason Tatum has lost in the NBA Finals multiple times. I get it, right? I get it. But he has been to the NBA Finals multiple times. He went when he was 24. He went when he was 26.
There you go.
It's the NBA Finals. And that's what I mean, right? I think when we were talking earlier, when I say success means something. And it's not, I think that's kind of where a lot of people look at kind of the new generation, and they're like, the mindset of I didn't get it done, but that's okay, wasn't okay when we grew up. And it's not a slight to the new mindset. I think you should give players flowers. I think there's a bunch of players that didn't get their flowers in the 90s that should have. I think there's a bunch of players that didn't get their flowers in the early 2000s that should have. And I love the fact that we give people flowers. But we take the flowers a little too far. We throwing bouquets at dudes that should be getting a rose.
Giving them to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we throwing bouquets out here to dudes that should be getting. Yeah, I mean, I got a chrysanthemum for you. You know what I'm saying? I got a singular. A singular chrysanthemum.
This guy knows his flowers.
Yeah, a little botany in my life. You know what I mean? Is that flowers? Right. That's flowers, right?
That's flowers. You're a botanist, yeah.
But we also then go to the extreme, the other direction, and like just slander a dude, like slandering Russell Westbrook for making an NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Slandering Jason Tatum for making an NBA Finals, slandering Jimmy Butler, but and I think this is on the flip side. Well, Jimmy Butler dragged his team to an NBA Finals twice.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah,
it's praise on one, but and it's based off of whether we like him or not. Now I agree, Tatum went a little hard with the Kobe stuff. You can't lose and you on that hard with the Kobe stuff. But like he's also been to the NBA Finals twice. He's also in the one season we can be upset about it as much as we want, but he got to the NBA Finals with a torn up labrum. Like I'm not saying he's got to be. You got to sit here and give him overwhelming love, but the conversation around Tatum is like this dude's a has been. It's like, sir, he has like 10 years of basketball.
10 more years, right?
Like,
this is nowhere near done. He's entering his prime.
If he wins a ring this year, there's a lot of basketball left in them legs, bro. Like I'm just saying. I don't know, man. But hey, we appreciate y'all tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. We'll be back tomorrow breaking down something around the Chicago Bears. Probably OTAs related. So stay tapped in with us on that as well. As always, for Jordan JC, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, C-Red, Go Sox, go. The other one you got.
Go Cubs, go, baby.
Yeah, that one. Oh, what's ours? The Sox really don't have one. Like you got go White Sox. It's like, ugh.
Stay meaty, my friends.
Oh boy, y'all stay safe out there. Peace. Hard.